We just tell ourselves that it's important to do this and that, but we don't spend that much time into studying the why, the reason why we want to do that, and the how. How do we achieve those goals?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Leadership Stack Podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs to increase your leadership, teamwork, and profits. This is your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. We have a question from Patrick. Patrick, thanks again for tuning in. Why do Filipinos have a hard time saving and budgeting? Nako.
This is related to my podcast. My podcast is entitled The 80%, which is inspired by what Dave Ramsey said. He says that financial success is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. A lot of Filipinos, they just focus on the 20%. They know that it's important to save. They know that it's important to track their expenses, to spend less than what they're earning, and it's important to create a budget. But they fail to study the 80%, which is really developing a daily habit that will help you achieve your goals. A lot of Filipinos have a hard time saving and budgeting because they focus too much on the goal of having savings. They focus too much on creating a budget, but they don't really give time to asking themselves, why do I want to do this? Because having a good why, or knowing or reminding yourself the reason why you need to take care of your finances, is a good motivation, a great motivation into having the patience and the persistence into building your money management skills. One reason also that why Filipinos fail is because they don't save for a goal. So again, having a goal is very helpful when you're trying to manage your finances. A lot of people, they just know that I need to save money, but you have to ask yourself, why do you need to save money? One of the studies that have shown is that when you're walking in a mall and you see a sale, so you'll be tempted na, uy, bibili ako ng bagong sapatos, there's a sale. But you also have to remind yourself na kailangan kong magtipid. So between a shoe, bagong sapatos, and the vague concept of saving money, for sure ang mananalo is yung buying those shoes, because it's a concrete thing and our mind is set to go for that instant gratification. But if you set a concrete goal for yourself, like I want to save money because you want to buy an iPhone, for example, nothing wrong with setting those types of goals. Now, when you're walking through the mall and you see a sale na, uy, may sale ng sapatos, but you also know that you're trying to save for a new phone, for an iPhone, you just have to ask yourself, which is more important for you? Saving money so that you can buy that iPhone, or buying those new shoes? At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer here. What I always emphasize is you have to be aware of the motivations that you have. And if you believe that it's more important for you to buy those shoes, then you have to accept the fact that you won't be able to buy that iPhone that you want. So it's all about being aware of our decisions, creating systems and processes in how we live our life, so that we can build that 80% behavior, that 80% mindset that we need to achieve financial success. So I think that's what's really missing among Filipinos. We just tell ourselves that it's important to do this and that, but we don't spend that much time into studying the why, the reason why we want to do that, and the how. How do we achieve those goals? So that's my answer to that question.
Love it. You're right in saying that, we know, right? We know it's important to save. Alam naman natin lahat yun eh. Pero ang hirap-hirap niyang gawin, and it all boils down to the heart, no? How you feel. What's your why? Why do you want to save? If you don't have a concrete answer. And maybe one thing that you can do to be able to help you remember why you're saving, write it down on a piece of paper or print it, whatever you want to do, and put it in front of you every day. Maybe paste it on the mirror. where you
Make it
check your
your
face,
phone's wallpaper. I have
make
friends
it
who
your
do that. Yeah.
yeah, because your phone is the first thing you pick up and the last thing you put down. That's right. Put it in front of you, because if it's not in front of you, you're gonna forget it. And when you see that big SALE on the mall, that's what you'll gravitate towards too. And from that, Erica asks again, should I be frugal with my money?
Yeah, there are two translations of frugal in Filipino. Frugal can mean kuripot. It can also mean matipid, no? Of course, the more positive definition is being matipid. But personally, I believe that it's important to be frugal instead, no? Prugal. Frugal means being prudent and frugal. It's not enough to just be thrifty with our money, but we also have to be prudent, or we have to be smart with how we spend our money. One story that I tell people is that a few years ago, I wanted to buy new running shoes. So, of course, I saw cheap running shoes. And if you're a frugal person, that would be a good choice because it's an affordable choice, an affordable running shoes. However, I did not consider how durable it will be. So after less than a year, the running shoes nasira na and I have to buy a new one. So the next purchase that I did, I researched more on the durability of different brands. I also considered ano ba yung gamit ko sa kanya. I will use it more for running. So I cannot just buy any random rubber shoes. No, I have to find one that fits my needs. Although it was more expensive, those running shoes lasted me for almost 4 years, which is far more than if I just kept on buying those 500 peso affordable shoes. No, so being frugal, which is being smart with our money, being prudent and frugal is what's more important. So sa Tagalog, it's being wais sa pera natin. So it's not enough na maging matipid lang, dapat maging matalino rin tayo sa pag-spend ng money natin sa mga binibili natin. So it's really important to be frugal, prudent and frugal.
Prudent and frugal. It's not enough just to be frugal. Galing. So I hope that helps. And Erica is asking, are there some best tools out there to help us keep track of our money?
Again, personal finance is personal. Use whatever tool that really helps you and inspires you to track your money. I started tracking my expenses, tracking my cash flow when there are still no apps that you can use. So I started with pen and paper and then graduated to using Excel, which I eventually found as the best tool for me. So even if there are already a lot of apps, a lot of software out there, I still use my Excel file to track my expenses. So use whatever is convenient and easy for you. One thing that I would tell you is that tracking your money at first will be very tedious. When I was just starting out with using Excel, it would take me around an hour and a half to just allocate my budget for the week. But I just became persistent and patient with it. Right now, after more than a decade of doing it, I can easily develop my budget for the whole week in about 5 minutes. And I am able to analyze my cash flow for the past month in just about 10-15 minutes. So it becomes easier, it becomes faster the more you do it. It will be a challenge at first to find the best app or the best tool or the best software to use, but you can also consider it as a challenge, or it's also a learning experience for you. So once you are able to find that tool, that app, that software that you feel that you can run away with, then go ahead and just be persistent with it. At the end of the day, whatever you choose, what's important is that you do it and make it a habit and make it part of your life.
I cannot agree more with that. It's not about the tool, it's about how disciplined you are in keeping track of your money. Personally, I'm horrible at keeping track of my money. So my wife actually helps me out a lot. and she just uses a free app to do it. I think the name is Spending Tracker. I'm not promoting them. I'm not an affiliate. I don't know who they are, but it's a free tool. I'm not sure if it still exists though, but I'm more of a big picture guy, so I use Excel, and then I just punch in everything I can remember, or every receipt that is in my pocket during the day. That's how I do it. I think getting the receipts make it easier, but not a lot of people have the patience to wait for the receipt sometimes. So you'd have to put in a little bit more patience in work if you want to really keep track of your money. If you don't know where your money went, you don't know where it can go, right?
Keep your competitors close, but don't emulate them, because what then end up, you're just going to, copying what they're doing, and then you're not really finding your own niche. Sometimes it's easy to copy them very quickly because it helps give you sort of a good platform to run off of and basically set your structure. But then later on, you realize that customers don't really want what your competitors are already offering. And you end up having to sort of, manipulate the way you look at your platform and decide, is that the same route that you want to go with?